Hi, my name is Vicky Lee, and I'm your success coach. Welcome to part 4 of a 4-part video series where I'm coaching Jason Arnold, owner of Alpha Athletics. I'm going to show you step by step how Jason fixed the one leaking hole sinking the Titanic of his entire life. And you're going to learn how to do this in 30 minutes or less in each of these videos of this 4-video series. Remember how in the last video you figured out what was your number 1 and what was your number 2? Well, that was your aha moment. Your homework is to list ways in which that's true. Prove it. So for example, my number 1 is food and my number 2 is people. If I want to lose weight, my number 1 has to be people and my number 2 has to be food. So my homework is to find one example of how I put people before food. And I promise you, if you find that one example, it will open up a whole ocean of understanding that will lead to your big breakthrough. Jason's aha moment was that his dad loved him. His homework is to prove that it's true.
Tell me otherwise. I know. I'm not debating. It's not da-da-da. I know because I feel it inside me. I know that my father loves me.
I don't know. At 7, we did. Because I made too many mistakes. Didn't like baseball. Didn't love baseball. I was a basketball player. We couldn't play basketball. I had passions to do other things. At 14, I made the basketball team. I tried so hard, I finally made the basketball team. I got kicked out of baseball. I think that really disrupted me. I can't think of ways I know he loves me because I don't think he's ever approved me.
We try to think of how my father loves me. We immediately start thinking how at age 7 I started to prove how you can't love me. Oh, you like baseball or the basketball? Oh, you like this? I'll do that. No.
That's fun.
Right?
We went through Jason's whole life and could not find one example of how his dad loved him until we got to his wedding at age 34.
The first time I ever felt that he loved me was on my wedding day. He cried. You can see it in his eyes. That's one thing about him, you can see it in his eyes. His eyes tell everything.
And the reason why he loved you when you got married was?
I think he finally probably thought it's a responsible thing to do. I have some security.
It's because someone else took his alpha place. You had loved him your whole life. He was number 1. And someone else finally relinquished him of this great burden of loving you. He just felt so much relief that someone who loved you as much as he loved you and was willing to be your alpha.
If you need something, it has power over you. If you need money, money has power over you. If you need a job, your job has power over you. All humans need a parent's love. It's not an optional need, it's mandatory, like air or water. Look at your number 1 and your number 2. Do you need food? Yes. Do you need people? Yes. But which do you need more? Jason needs his father's love, but what he needs more is to love himself. And that's going to be his internal battle, how to love himself more than he loves his father. Your internal battle is going to be how to love your number 1 more than you love your number 2.
You know how to love.
Love myself, respect myself.
Okay, so
You might not know how to love your number 1 more than you love your number 2. Because people have not been there for you all the time. Meanwhile, food has always unconditionally loved you. Food is reliable and fun. People are mean and they're high maintenance. So how are you going to follow your formula of success? How are you going to figure this one out? Watch how Jason does it.
we were doing it with pit bulls, and that was very, not really your natural style. Let's try phoenixes. The natural regular Jason Arnold, born to be a phoenix, that's going to be easier. Because the pit bulls, you were trying to adapt to a system that was clearly the right way, the only way, with a very predictable result. And that was very narrow and confining. Instead of the phoenix way, which is not different, not the right way, but it's different. It's not the only way, it's creative and it's new, and it's not about predictable results, it's about possibilities. And it's not narrow, it's wide open, dude.
If you can't figure out how to put your number 1 in front of your number 2, it's usually not because of something you're doing. It's usually who you're being. Who are you being when you put your number 2 first in your life? Who are you being when you put your number 1 first in your life? When Jason was putting his dad first, he was being a pit bull. When Jason was putting himself first, he was being a phoenix.
So there are things that come incredibly natural to you that you've repressed. A pit bull, you've got to say, listen, you nose to the ground, follow the pee of trail, the trail of pee, just sniff your way home. A phoenix, just fly. You got a bird's eye view, you see it right there. The phoenix just has to fly. The pit bull has to follow his trail of pee and sniff his way home. All you have to do is be you, and you'll find your way. Figure it out, see it. Pit bull has to figure it out and find his way, he's lost. Phoenix just has to see it, just has to fly, and then the phoenix will see it, find it, whatever the hell Phoenix is doing.
This also be discussing letting go of people that I don't feel like allow me to be me.
Who you are being determines what game you're playing in life. Pit bulls play a blood sport. They fight on the ground. Phoenixes play an airborne sport. They fly in the sky. Pit bulls use muscle. Phoenixes use vision. Who are you being when you're being your number 2? What game are you playing when you're being this? Who are you being when you're your number 1? What game are you playing when you're being this?
So, fight, and whoever doesn't die, the winner is alpha, number 1. You do it by blood. Phoenixes, you can't do anything by blood. They don't do it that way. You have to kind of sing a song and nurture and support, and the phoenix will be all the feathers, inspired. You have to coax this phoenix with beauty to make her, you know what I mean? To make it like flame with fire and feathers and stuff. You can't do it like that. With pit bulls you use blood, with phoenixes you use inspiration. So you've got to figure out whatever you need to do to get that phoenix to fly, because once she's airborne, you're done. You got to do whatever you need to do to inspire the phoenix to fly, because once she's airborne, you're done. Because you can see everything. And when you can see everything, you're in control.
Who are you being when you are your number 1? When you're being that, you have your key ingredient to your success. Watch how Jason lets this sink in.
What do you think?
It's overwhelming. But I know when times where I'm like, yeah, I'm very creative and I'm just, there's weeks where things just are flowing way better. These things are I'm killing it, you know, money's coming in, new clients coming in, this is happening. I heard from this person, I heard from that person. Things are just, I'm teaching more people, clients are getting better results, everything else, and I'm just killing it. It's just on a roll, and everything's just happening, you know. Yeah, that's and then I just get back into it. I don't know. It falls away or something. I don't know if it's complacency. I don't know if it's a rut. I don't know if it's just common. I don't know if it's hills and valleys, just standard hills and valleys of life. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so that's when you let your phoenix out. Everything is rolling. Hills and valleys are for the pit bulls. When you're in the air, there's no hills and valleys. You're either in the air or you're not. So when you're not in the air, all you have to do is do whatever you need to do to figure out how to get back in the air.
This is troubleshooting time, because in your heart you know you're a phoenix, but in your head you're like, oh, what if I backslide? On the bottom half of your worksheet, we're going to build your vision map. And you're going to compare and contrast your number 1 and your number 2. For example, pit bulls look behind to see who's sniffing their butt. Phoenixes look ahead to see who's supporting their dreams. Or quitters complain and look forward to lunch as a consolation prize for giving up early. Fully present people praise and look forward to the victory after finishing the race.
It was strikingly similar to how you were on to something, and then the old voices are, oh, you're not good enough, you can't handle if you listen. You know what I mean? As opposed to be like, instead of focusing back, no, I'm going over there. You know what I mean? And so that's all it is. It's, oh, I was airborne, and then like, oh no, you can't fly. Really? I can't fly, oh no, I don't think. It's just practice. It's just practice. The old voices, and then you realize, oh, that's just a pit bull trying to tell a phoenix how to fly. Are you fucking kidding me? Who's in control? Poop on you. I mean, whenever you started letting pit bulls tell a phoenix what to do, you gotta be insane, man. You'll get the hang of it. Pretty soon, you'll be alpha and be like, I'm Phoenix, you're a pit bull. Think about it. But you're being too loving. Because your father was a father, so you have a soft spot for these guys. All those soft spots are going to work themselves out. You're going to be solid gold back there. No soft spots.
Still have time.
Pit bulls only have a limited amount of time to get their opinions in now, because pretty soon we're going to expire you guys out.
When you are being your number 1, playing your number 1 game, you will soon be surrounded by other number 1s. When you're being your number 2, you are destined to live, work, play, and mate with other number 2s. Jason's future is full of phoenixes, even though his past was full of pit bulls. Because who you once were, or even who you are right now, hardly matters. Because who you were meant to become trumps them all.